So I'm Mrs. Walker, for those of you who don't know me, and we are going to discuss your syllabus today. If you have any questions, please email me, gabrielle.walker@lacollege.edu. But this should be pretty straightforward. There's my office. Hello. Cleaning wipes. Those are necessary, you know, in this age of flus and whatnot. Okay, so it is summertime. I rarely wear makeup, so don't judge me. Okay, this is your textbook. There it is. You will need this for both Civ 1 and Civ 2. So if you've already taken either Civ 1 or Civ 2 within the past 2 years, this is the book that we've used. You don't have to buy another one. Just keep the same one. It's a concise history. I know that the words are all backwards and all, but it's a concise history. So it's got both Volume 1 and Volume 2. This is the entire book that you need for both Civ 1 and Civ 2. So if you've already taken Civ 1 or Civ 2 at a different time with a different book, you don't have to get the combined volume. You could get just whichever volume you would need. If it's for Civ 2, then it would be Volume 2. So, okay, so that's kind of what your book looks like, minus the red, because that's an instructor's copy. Okay, so if you're looking at your syllabus, right there, you'll notice that this course is going to last for 8 weeks. We're going to start on June the 9th, and when I say we're going to start, that means you should definitely get started by June the 9th. I keep looking like I hit my eyes, but you can't see my eyes. I'm going to look at that camera. Okay. You got to have fun with history because some things are just kind of boring. Just have fun. Okay. So, starts on June 9th, and I would suggest you start reading much sooner than that because this is a very reading intensive course, and you're going to want to keep up with everything so that you don't get distracted. Okay, so it's going to be for 8 weeks long, so don't feel overwhelmed when you look at the amount of material to read. Don't worry, it's completely doable. You just have to keep up with it. So, so stay focused and get it done. Okay, so the mission of the college, as well as the History and Political Science Division, is there. You can see my office is Alexandria Hall, room 205. I apologize, I neglected to put my office phone number on there. The office phone number is 318-487-7106. But I'm not going to be in my office, really, so it's not going to be best to call. You need to email me, gabrielle.walker@lacollege.edu. Office hours are by request only, and the best way to contact me is by email. I just showed you the book that we're going to be using. It's the Lynn Hunt, Thomas Martin, Barbara Rosenwein, and Bonnie Smith book called The Making of the West, Peoples and Cultures, A Concise History. Again, and this is the 4th edition. It would be best to make sure that you get the proper edition. That way the questions and page numbers and that kind of stuff all match up. It doesn't matter to me if you borrow a book from someone who's already taken the course. That's fine. Just get the book legally, morally, ethically, but get the book because you will definitely need it. And again, if you just need one of the classes, Civ 1 or Civ 2, you don't have to get the concise combined edition. You can get Volume 1 or Volume 2 depending on which Civ you're taking. Your course goals and objectives are there. Oh, underneath the primary sources. There are primary sources that you're going to be reading throughout these 8 weeks. Primary source documents are documents either from the time, well, they're from the time period, and they're from a particular person or a particular event, things like that. So, Thomas Jefferson's journal, that would be a primary source. A book written about Thomas Jefferson using his journal, that would be a secondary source. So that's the difference between the two. Primary sources help you to learn history. They enrich your understanding. So that's why I require you to read them. And they're very, very good. They can definitely help you to understand the material you're taking in from the textbook. Course goals and objectives are there. Now on the next page, on page 2, we have, of course, the course catalog description. And then beneath that, the determination of the final grade. I'm going to use a 10-point scale. You have 3 very basic and broad assignments: homework, unit tests, and a final exam. Now, let's talk about those individually. For the homework, you will need to complete both the textbook and the primary source questions in the same document. So, when you read chapter 18, and you answer the review and making connection questions at the end, there is also a primary source or 2 that corresponds with this chapter. So answer, like, open up Word or the Mac Pages software. Either one is fine. So open that up, answer your textbook questions, and then save that document. Please save everything that you do. Save that document, and then read your primary source documents and answer those questions in the same Word document or in the same Pages document. Save it. Again, please save everything and hold on to it till the end of the semester, because sometimes the portal does crazy things and we lose stuff, and it's happened in the past. So please save everything that you do. So answer all of those questions in the same document, and then you will upload that one document to the portal underneath the coursework tab. And when you open up the portal and look at it, you'll see the coursework tab on the left, and each assignment is labeled for you, so it should be very clear. Again, so the chapter questions at the end of every chapter, there are questions entitled Review, because you're reviewing the material that you learned before. And then there are Making Connections questions. So you're making connections with what you've already learned to maybe, something forthcoming. So you must answer all of those questions as part of your homework. And then, again, the primary source documents, these are going to be located underneath the primary source tab. Again, it should be fairly user-friendly. Underneath the primary source tab, they will be listed out for you about which ones you will need, and you'll read the document and you'll answer those questions. And again, you'll submit just one document to me with the answers to all of your questions. Please label your responses. So when you're responding to the review questions from the chapter, please type review at the top, and then number 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then after that make another heading, Making Connections, and then after you answer those, you number those, answer those. Beneath that, then put primary source 1 or primary source whatever. That way I can see which ones they are, and I'm not having to constantly flip back and forth too much. You don't have to write out the questions that you see in the textbook or on the primary source. You don't have to do that, but if it helps you, then go ahead. But I don't have to have those. Your tests are located also under the coursework tab on the portal. You're going to take unit exams, and again, you'll see these on the course schedule. But these are mostly multiple choice. There's some matching. There's some like short answer, short essay kind of questions, and you are timed. You have 75 minutes. I'm sorry for all the wobbling. My arm is starting to hurt. You have 75 minutes to complete each test. Each test is worth 50 points. They are open book, but because of the time limit, if you don't study beforehand, it's going to be very difficult. You should have already turned in all of, your homework before you open up a test. So technically you should have already read and you should have already studied, but just in case, yeah, you need to study. So, 75-minute time limit. Tests are open book, but because of the time limit, you should be prepared before starting each exam. Now, here is something that is incredibly important and you need to know. Once you open the exam, you cannot save it and go back to it later. Once you open the exam, you should be prepared to sit down and take that test, because it will close. If you close it out, you cannot reopen it. And whatever grade you get is the grade you get. Some people in the past have had, I'll swap arms here. Now you can see Indiana Jones. Hey, history majors are legendary. You have to have fun with history. You just do. Okay, once your exam is open, they have to be completed, because once you close them, you're done. Okay, once you close them, they're done. You must make sure that you have the time and the technological capability of completing the test before you begin the test. I got distracted with Indiana Jones. What I was going to say a little earlier was this. Some people in the past have done their entire test, and the test had some short answer questions on it, and they lost it all. They hit submit. I could see where they, like I can see the things that you do. So it was like I could see some stuff, but I couldn't see other stuff. And so I did reopen the exam for them. But what would have been so much easier, and what some students did at the end with the final exam that got a little wonky on them, as they were typing their responses, they copied and pasted into a separate document, into like a Word document. And that way when they got to the end, before they clicked submit, they copied and pasted everything that they had into a Word document. And when they hit submit, an error popped up and it wouldn't let them turn in their exam. Well, they emailed me and said, it didn't let me turn in my exam, but here are my responses. And I was able then to go ahead and grade and give you a grade. And it doesn't draw things out. So that might be a good practice if you see that there are, if you have trouble with the exam, that would be a good practice to have. If you don't have trouble with the exam, it's really no big deal for the short answers. It's, it's a person's name or something. You don't really have to copy and paste that. It's the essay questions that are going to get you, because, you spend time on that. So anyway, if you have an essay question, before you submit it, copy and paste into a Word document just in case. And then if something happens and it doesn't, for whatever reason, take your test, you can send it to me and I can go ahead and give you a grade. Okay, your final exam is going to be a little bit different, because your final exam is 2 essay questions. Are 2 essay questions. Is? I think it is. Anyway, the final exam consists of 2 essay questions. And I expect for you to use information from the primary sources as well as from the textbook. And you need to cite. So just put a little parentheses out to the side and you give me like the name of the document that you used. But I expect to see information from the primary sources in your responses. You will have an hour and 30 minutes or an hour and a half to complete the final exam. So there is a time limit, therefore you should be prepared before starting. The topics covered in the 2 final essay questions are going to be World War I and the Cold War. And when we get closer to time, I will probably give a little more info on that via the portal. Do not plagiarize. You'll fail a class, and there will be a form submitted to the VPAA, an academic integrity violation form. So please don't plagiarize. Plagiarizing includes, when you're answering the questions from the textbook, just copying verbatim from the textbook. And that's, good job. You can copy, but I want to see, I want to see your ability to think critically and to put together all of the information that you're taking in all of your reading. So use your words, nobody else's. If you don't want to remain in the class, you should go through the drop process, which starts at your advisor's office. If you don't know who your advisor is, go to the registrar. They will tell you who your advisor is. All assignments must be turned in on time. There will not be any extra credit. Let's see. Makeup policy is really on a case-by-case basis. Now, your topical schedule and assignments. Week 1, chapters 15 and 16, primary sources 1 and 2, due June 13th at 1 p.m. So, technically, we are starting on June 9th, but again, if you're listening to this, let's see, I'm filming this on May, what is today? 14th? No, 21st. 20th. Okay, I'm filming this on May 20th. If you're watching this, come May 25th, then, I would suggest you start reading now and start answering those questions, because you do not want to get stuck. You don't want to get stuck with having a bunch to do at the end. So, week 1, you have to read 2 chapters, 2 primary sources. And again, these primary sources, sometimes there may be more than one within each source. I may include more for you to look at. But 2 chapters, 2 primary sources, due Friday at 1 p.m. The next week, starting June 15th, 2 chapters, 2 primary sources, due Friday at 1 p.m. You notice a trend? So basically every Friday at 1 p.m. your homework assignments are due. Test 1 is going to open probably like June 17, and it must be completed no later than Friday at 9 p.m. So your homework is due 1 p.m. on Fridays. Your unit exams are going to close at 9 p.m. on Fridays. That means you don't start the test at 8:55 p.m. You start the test at 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. or 5 p.m. You don't start the test right before it's going to close, because when it says it closes at 9 p.m., that means it closes. So whatever you've done up to that point, that's what it will submit. If you've only answered one question, it's only one question that will be graded. So you must complete the test no later than 9 p.m. On Fridays. So again, you can see it's a couple of weeks, a couple of chapters within each week, a couple of primary sources within each week, due Fridays at 1 p.m. The unit exams, again, they are going to be due Fridays at 9 p.m. Now, the week of the 4th of July, okay, so June 29th through July 3rd. If you have family plans, you need to get your work done early. Early, not late. I will not accept late work. It must be completed early if you have family plans. Just go ahead and budget out your time and say, this is when I'm going to get my stuff done. So it needs to be done early. After that, again, any family vacations you have planned or anything like that, get your work done early, not late. Early. And if you don't know when family vacations are going to be, that's even, it gives even more reason and more urgency for you to start as soon as possible to get this work done. Okay, so July 7th through July 31st. The final exam is going to open on July 7th. It will be open until 9 p.m. on August the 4th. So you have over a week to study and prepare for the final exam. It will be open that entire time, and you can go in at any time and take the test and be done before August. But the final exam will open on July 27th, and then it will close August 4th at 9 p.m. That week, July 27th through the 31st, if something happens and you have missed an assignment, I don't want you during the semester, during the 8 weeks, I don't want you fretting over constantly trying to do things maybe that you missed and get behind on things that are due, because that doesn't work to your favor. If you miss something, keep making forward progress. You can't see what I'm doing here. Keep making forward progress. Keep moving forward, because that works more to your benefit than it does trying to back up and do other things. So during that week, that last full week, July 27th through July 31st, if you miss any homework, during that week you have the opportunity to turn it in for half credit, but it might be less than that because I will grade it. I will grade it like normal, but you only have the possibility of earning up to like a 50%, as it were. But sounds better than nothing. That stated, no test can be taken once the test is done. When the test is done, when the due date and due date and the time have passed for the unit exams, they're done. You cannot go back and take those. So make sure you take care of those tests. Those are very important. The final exam, when it's closed, it's closed. I will not reopen. So please complete your final exam before August 4th, preferably. And that way, if you have technology issues or whatever, I can assist you with that. I can help you. I can be there. But once it closes, it closes. Once it is closed, it is closed. Now, I put on here a frequently asked question section. Okay, so the first one is, I'm concerned about the reading requirements. Are there lectures I can listen to? I have decided, and this is the first time. Oh, it got very bright all of a sudden. Don't do that. Stop. Okay, that's better. I'll just have to hold it. Okay. It's still bright. The sun is coming in. Okay. Yes, I'm a goofball, and I prefer in-class time. I think you would too. But anyway, you can take the online course. That's fine. Okay. So the reading requirement. Are there lectures I can listen to? This is the first time I'm doing this. For an online class, I am going to record some lectures and post them online. I may not get all of them up there, but I am confident. I feel pretty positive that I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film them. It's going to be very simple. I'm just going to like point my little camera at my computer screen, and we'll just go through the PowerPoints. I'll basically just kind of read the lecture, as it were. It's not going to be very exciting, but it's somebody talking, and sometimes you just need somebody to talk to you. I will put those links in a Word document, and I will post those on the syllabus tab. So you will have access to that. How should you study for tests? Well, I mean, you're reading, you're using the PowerPoint presentations as a guide to help focus your study, make flashcards of, important people, important places, important events, important concepts or ideologies. Do I accept late work? I'd rather not. I will, but it's the best policy is to just to keep moving forward and to get your stuff done on time. If you know you're going to have work and work is going to last until 5 p.m., well, that means that you're working maybe at nighttime. So I get home, I eat dinner, I take care of children if I have children, and when they go down, that's the time I've set aside for an hour and a half to 2 hours where I read and I'm answering questions. You do that, and by the end of the week, not only will you have totally finished answering all of your questions, but you will be prepared for the test as well, I would think. Lunch times can be lecture times, so you can, put in your little earbuds and you can go to YouTube and listen to the lectures. Or if you have a desk job where you could sit and listen to the lectures while you're doing other stuff, that's fine too. So I mean, I work on a case by case basis. I have refused to accept late work in the past, for different reasons. If you're someone who consistently gets work done late, there will come a time whenever I will say, I'm sorry, I cannot accept any more late work. It's going to have to be turned in on time from here on out. And if it's not, it's a 0. Because that puts me behind in being able to grade and get other things out for other students. And I can't do that frequently. So please have your work done on time. Do I accept early work? Absolutely. For everything except the final exam. The final exam is not going to open until July 27th at 9 a.m. So other than that, yes. I had a student before who turned in work several weeks ahead of time and then had, like 2 weeks to study for the final exam. But everybody else kind of pushed forward. And so I wound up opening the final exam a little earlier than what I had originally intended because everybody was working at a faster pace. But that student was, well, I said 2 weeks, more like 3 to 4 weeks ahead of everybody else. So please get your work done on time. That would thrill my soul. I would love it to have everything done early. Do you need to get the book? Yes. PowerPoint presentations are not going to be enough. There's information in the book. I can't go over everything. In lectures, I tend to highlight certain things. So get the book. You need the book. 4th edition. And once I open a test, can I save my work and come back later if something comes up? No, you cannot. So make sure that you turn off your phone, you get rid of all distractions, and when it comes time to take the test, you're just taking the test, and that's it. I hope that this was beneficial. Kind of random. It's summer. I'm tired. My children like to get up early even though it's summer. So anyway, I hope that this helped you. If you have any questions, please email me. Again, gabrielle.walker@lacollege.edu. God bless. Look forward to hearing from you soon.